From a Premier League legend to a manager with an eye for developing young talent, Frank Lampard has never shied away from a challenge, and now it seems likely that he's preparing to write the next chapter of his career with Coventry City, a club with ambition, passion and a hunger for success. As reports swirl of his imminent appointment as the Sky Blues' new manager, we dive into what Lampard could bring to Coventry, his philosophy and what this means for the club pushing forward for Premier League glory. Could he be the man to lead them back to the big stage? Let's find out. So before we get into this video about Frank Lampard seemingly set to be appointed as the new Coventry City manager as of recording this, by the time this goes up it could already be announced because apparently the announcement could be as early as later today, but for now at least it's set to be the name as Coventry City's new boss. But before we get started with all that, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell so you never miss another video. Got plenty more content to come over the week, including loads more match reviews and all sorts. And for now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this Championship news update of the EFL report about Frank Lampard's imminent appointment at Coventry City. So this story was first broken to us by Football Insider transfer correspondent Pete O'Rourke, and he states that Frank Lampard's appointment as the new Coventry City manager is imminent and could be announced as early as later today. According to Sky Sports News, it's understood that an agreement in principle has been reached, with the two parties ironing out the finer details. So for those of you Coventry City fans who need a bit of an introduction into who Frank Lampard is as a manager, let's have a bit of a deep dive into the man on the touchline. Frank Lampard transitioned into management following a glittering playing career primarily at Chelsea, where he was renowned for his goal-scoring midfield prowess. His managerial career began with Derby County, followed by stints at Chelsea, Everton and a brief caretaker return to Stamford Bridge in 2023. Lampard favours high-tempo attacking football, with an emphasis on quick transitions and interplay between the midfield and forwards. Wing play is also critical, utilising overlapping fullbacks to provide width, while wingers often cut inside to create goal-scoring opportunities. He typically employs a high press to win the ball in advanced areas. There's also been cases of defensive fragility, which has been a recurring issue in his managerial career so far, often linked to inconsistent organisation during transitions. He likes to prioritise possession whilst looking for incisive passes to exploit defensive gaps, and he also encourages midfielders to push forward and contribute to goal-scoring opportunities, which is a true reflection of his playing style, as he scored a total of 274 goals in 914 appearances in all competitions throughout his illustrious senior playing career, which lasted for over 2 decades. Lampard has demonstrated a strong commitment to nurturing younger talent, as he was instrumental in integrating players like Mason Mount, Reece James and Tammy Abraham into Chelsea's first team setup, and he provides opportunities for academy players, which often fast-tracks their development as they transition from academy football to senior football. He's also known for fostering positive relationships with players, creating an environment where younger players can thrive, and he's often open to tactical experimentation, often tweaking formations and roles based on opposition or personnel availability. Teams under Lampard have struggled defensively at times, particularly in managing counter-attacks and set-piece situations, and have also shown on occasions an over-reliance on attacking transitions that can leave the backline exposed when the opposition attacks. Sometimes his tactical adjustments during games have sometimes been slow or ineffective, and he's also struggled in maintaining consistent results during prolonged periods of poor form, particularly at Everton. He lost 9 games in 12 in the Premier League and were left second from bottom of the table with 15 points from 20 matches, above Southampton on goal difference, at the time of his sacking from Goodison Park back in January 2023. Frank Lampard is a good candidate for clubs looking to build long-term projects with an emphasis on youth integration. His commitment to attacking football and ability to develop players make him well suited to teams with a progressive vision. However, his defensive weaknesses and inconsistencies in achieving immediate results suggest he may need further experience or a strong support team to manage at the highest level. He's a promising manager with room to grow, particularly if he can address his defensive frailties and hone a distinct tactical identity. So it seems everything but confirmed that Frank Lampard is set to be the new Coventry City manager. Now, when you look at Frank Lampard's resume, as a player, it's astounding. He's one of the Premier League legends, and the word legend gets tossed around a lot. But when we say legend, we mean legend as a player. Now, in terms of his previous success as a manager, it's not as much as other managers. However, he has earned some kind of respect. During his managerial career, he achieved over a 42% win rate with Derby County in 2 years, over 57 games, whilst also reaching the Championship playoff final, which ended in defeat, of course. Chelsea, in his 3 years in charge, over 84 games, with a nearly 52.5% win rate, and qualified for the Champions League. He avoided relegation with Everton in the 21-22 season during the 44 games he spent there over 2 years at Goodison Park, with nearly a 23% win rate. He then achieved just over an 18% win rate in 11 games in the couple of months he was the caretaker manager at Chelsea on a temporary basis. So it's very, very clear that Lampard's resume could be better than others. When you look at more experienced managers like Mark Warburton, managers like, your Chris Wilders of the world that are at Sheffield United currently, and Valérien Ismaël, David Wagner, they've achieved more, I think, managerially in their careers than Frank Lampard as a manager. I'll use David Wagner as an example. Of course, he achieved promotion from that level. Frank Lampard lost in that final. Is Frank Lampard the man to get Coventry City over the line long term and get them back into the Premier League? He has the potential to do so, but he hasn't got the previous track record from a manager perspective or managerial perspective to get them over the line yet. Can he learn to get there? Of course he can. You have to give someone a chance. However, I think that it's one of them processes where it's only going to take 2-3 years maybe. And if you're someone who demands instant promotion or demands instant results, in 2-3 years, if you've brought in the players to get you promoted and you still haven't got promoted, then questions do need to be asked, especially on the pitch if they keep recurring the same mistakes, such as defensive incapabilities, tactical fluidity problems, focusing on attacking transition, leaving your backline exposed. If there's not a strong enough backline to cope with that and you keep conceding goal after goal after goal, there's going to be that added pressure on the manager if he doesn't change it up. Now, he has had history of changing up his formations every now and then. However, his shape has to remain the same in terms of its structure, its compactness, and its strength, its shield-like nature. Now, Lampard, from a defensive sense, will know what we needs to do. Because, for me, I think Lampard knows exactly being in the dressing room with the likes of Michael Essien, Michael Ballack, players like that, Didier Drogba. He's been in the Manchester City dressing room. He's been in the New York City dressing room. He's been in multiple Chelsea dressing rooms over the years. He's someone who knows what it takes to succeed. He's won pretty much nearly everything as a player. So he'll know what it takes to win. He hasn't done it yet as a manager in terms of actual silverware. So it needs to happen sooner rather than later. And like I said, I think it only takes maybe 3 years minimum before fans start demanding what the hell's going on. If there's no progress in 3 years, if you bring in the right players to get promoted, but you don't show the progress in that time that's actually going to get you into the Premier League in that time, then there will be questions asked, or more questions asked than there would have been. So Lampard carries that risk of not having won much as a manager previously. However, his victories and silverware as a player, his previous mistakes and learning from them, if he can, and also his contact book could bring some exciting young, fresh faces to Coventry City. It could bring them a brand new project. And this could be a project that gets them into the Premier League, but it's all depending on if Lampard's learned from previous mistakes in previous stints as manager at Chelsea, Everton, Derby. And it's also a case of what can he do to get this side over the line, whereas when he was manager of Derby, he couldn't get them over the line. What's he learned since to get Coventry to do what Derby didn't do, all those years ago in 2018, 2019, and that is get them over the line and get them back in the Premier League. So what are your thoughts on Frank Lampard as Coventry City manager, or expected to be Coventry City manager? Let us know in the comments down below and we'll reply to every single comment. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'm the CHALL. Ta-ra for now, and that is full time.